How do you do? Long time I not talk to you. This is Faye Ellington, and I'm telling you the heat is getting to me. But let me tell you what else getting to me. You see, between the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, and a former Member of Parliament, him served 7 unbroken terms, Robert Pickersgill, them a go mad me. M-A-D me. Why am I say so? Well, we're talking about this business with job descriptions for members of parliament and ministers of government. On the 7th of June, I saw in the Gleaner where Mr. Pickersgill was interviewed, and this is what he said. Let me read it to you. He says, I don't know how you can write a job description for someone who is on call every minute of the day. Listen now, man, if you're going to demand job description, then you have to make the payment. I can tell you somebody who is on demand every minute of the day. Mothers. Mothers are on demand every minute of the day. And they know what they need to do, and they do it. Of course, those who don't do it, well, there are issues there. Right? But we need a job description. We need a job description. It doesn't have to be as detailed as some people think. And I'm going to make some suggestions. But what gets to me now with the Prime Minister? Hear the Prime Minister now. This was on the 20th of June in the Parliament of Jamaica. I want to quote something he said. In proposing a job description, we are not suggesting anything new or outside our laws and constitution. However, few people have a full appreciation of what the appointment requires. It is hoped that this job description will help members of the public better appreciate and understand the roles and responsibilities of ministers and members of parliament. Prime Minister, sir, I know members of the public need to understand. It is the members of parliament who need to understand what their roles and duties and responsibilities are. We know what we are expecting from them and not getting. So between you and former Minister Bobby Pickersgill, you know, mad me and you know, mad enough other people. There are some basic things that need to be done, you know. Yeah. So I hear the list of things that you, Prime Minister, shared in Parliament. All right. that is another story. But let me tell you where we can start. Tell the members of Parliament that people must be able to find them. Constituents need to find them when they need to find them. So you can't say you have an office and when people call there, the phone not answer, or it goes straight to voicemail. People don't know how to find you. You understand me I say? So you need to go back to those days, and some people I gather still have it, where you have a day when you go into the constituency office and people know what that day is and they can come to you to discuss whatever they want to discuss. Your telephone must be managed. You can't have telephone that is going straight to voicemail or not being answered at all. You need to perhaps pay someone to manage the phone and to take the messages that come on that phone. We know constituencies can demand a lot, but you have to manage. And you decide say you want a member of parliament, so you better find a way to manage how you're going to interact with your constituents and allow them to find you. So accessibility, both the day when you're going to be in the office, the hours when you're going to be there, and the phone must be managed. It cannot just go a voicemail, so, or not being answered at all. That's a foolishness. Extreme foolishness. All right, here's the other thing. You need to visit communities. You have a constituency. And particularly those that are, well, all of them, even those in town, St. Andrew, you have Hilly Part, etc. You need to go in a different community. Them can't only go some community. People need to see you. You need to go into the community, and even when things are not right, like roads bad, at least you need to say to them, look here now, I'm in touch with the parish, I nearly say parish council, not that it name anymore, but talking to them, municipal corporation, and we're talking to NWA, if it is main roads we're talking about. People will, some of them will be disgusting, yes, but people will say, at least you come and say something, at least you come and say something. You need to go in and meet the people them in the constituency. Here's something else I'd like to suggest. That these are not things that the Prime Minister write down. You understand? These are things that are commonsensical as far as I am concerned, and these are things that former Minister and Member of Parliament Robert Pickersgill not contemplating, but maybe he did, me no know. Hello. You need to have some regular meetings, like half-yearly meetings, where you're going to communities and talk to people. Hear from them, tell them where you are, what you're doing, what you're accomplishing, where the challenges are, ask for assistance, right? And when I play partisan politics, because that now cut it. That's the other thing in that job description. Now, if you're going to talk to me about job description, no partisan politics. No partisan politics. All right. So that is another one. The dead yard and funeral, them important. Me know that me come from country. But that cannot be the only things that some of you pay special attention to. Carry the 2 bottle of white rum and go down there and chomp and sing to whatever. Go to the singing, as some people call it now. Some no awake anymore, night or set up. Some people say them a gas singing. That's important, but there has to be other things. Go check on the school them in your constituency. Not only when there's graduation time and you want to speak and make a political statement. Go in and check on the schools. And check to see what is happening. What about the perimeter fencing that so many schools talking about? Check to see. You perhaps can't do it yourself, but at least you'll have an idea of what is happening in your constituency. Here's another pet peeve of mine. So many of nobody pay attention to the elderly. They are there. Just go in and check with them. Many of them just want to see you and hear say you're trying to do something for help. You will get complaints because the nature of the job means that you're going to get complaints from whether they're young, elderly, or in between. But go and check on the elderly. You can't just lift them up, sir. And then build Jamaica. That is why Jamaica is where it's at now without their input. Whether they were farmers or carpenters or school teachers or nurses. Go check on the elderly. You can't just lift them up, sir. What do you know? All right, that's another one. People with disabilities exist to live in every community in Jamaica. Member of Parliament, do you know who they are? Do you know what the disability is? Some are deaf, some are hard of hearing, some are blind, some are visually impaired, some have one leg, some have using walking stick, some can't move at all. Go check, because maybe you can put them on, or members of their family, to an institution, a department, an agency where they can get help. But no, man, as my grandmother said, "Uno sit down on the Bahama Island and do the something we need to do." All right. So these are just some of the things. You see, so the job description that the Prime Minister has proffered and will be fine-tuned, that are one thing, right? And I'm bewildered by some of it. And the job description that former Member of Parliament Bobby Pickersgill called an impossible task. It's not impossible, even though they're just things that need to be done. And if you do them with honesty and sincerity and integrity, it's not impossible, right? It's a long time I want to talk about this thing. From the article that quoted Mr. Pickersgill, and then perhaps now, yesterday, the Prime Minister speak about the job description in Parliament. Well, make I tell you something. It is the people, and me and you, have to go and make sure so it's not business as usual, right? And when you can't find the Member of Parliament because they either not answer a phone or the phone gone a voicemail, right? Well, we need to take to social media. Don't embarrass, no nastiness, right? That's not what I'm talking about. No vulgarity, right? You just need to say, I'm trying to find my Member of Parliament. Tag the Prime Minister if needs be. And say what constituency. It's so we're going to have to do it to make people get moving and understand what representational politics is like. Me not touch a minister, they may tell us another story, eh? But it's very simple, Politics. Treat people the way you would want to be treated. It's very, very simple. Treat people the way you would want to be treated. Whether they are young, senior citizens, elderly, people with disabilities, they are teachers, nurses, whatever, they are in the community, the careless boy them at in a crossroad or the shop pacer. Maybe you need to engage with them. Don't write them off. Engage with them and find some way to get them to buy into something or make them give you an idea. Yes, we know some of them will never do anything, but you might be surprised what you might get from others. So, all me I say is, to Mr. Pickersgill, Bobby Pickersgill, 7 unbroken terms in politics, and I can't tell me about writing job description for politicians an impossible task. You bewilder me. And to the Prime Minister, when you can tell me, say, that it is hoped that this description will help members of the public better appreciate and under the public, the members of parliament on both sides of the fence, both sides of the aisle, need to understand that then take up a job. Me, I wonder, one thing, so I should go around for a member of parliament, a councillor, I see something, Buildings are go up all over, and we are here say, no, they're not getting the authority to do it. And them the role council, suppose when you see a building go, you don't turn a blind eye, you start to check. And about another time for another person who was dealing with corruption recently. Don't start me off. This is Faye Ellington. Maybe I need to run for, what is it? I need to run for making things better for Jamaicans, whether they're in the country or in town. But the challenge is that the two political parties not quite get it. So if I go form my own party, I not think so. No, seriously, I now run. Just teasing. But I'm here to encourage, to let you know so it's not as difficult as you think it is. It's not an impossible task to know what your roles and responsibilities are and to acquit yourself with aplomb. Wanna hear me? Yeah, man. Faye Ellington here. What good? Tell them what I want to do. Keep your member of parliament and your councillor on them P's and them Q's. Make sure them deliver what you need.